So this is an impromptu video. As you can clearly tell, I'm sporting a cap and, rolling up the sleeves a little bit. It's a little chilly today. But this is a video to watch if you've got call reluctance. And this happens to everybody. And it usually happens within the first 30 days. In fact, for new people who aren't used to being on the phone, this will probably happen within your first week. Is that you get to the point where you've studied a little bit, you know a few things about the business, and you're just a little apprehensive about being on the phone. And don't worry, if you're not completely confident of jumping onto the dialer, Mojo dialer, and just click, 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 and going along and talking to people, then you've got call reluctance. If you're like, let me study the guidelines a little bit more, you've got call reluctance. If you're like, well, let me call and talk to my Aunt Susie or talk to mom or my buddy or my old friend from work, you've got call reluctance. If there's a moment when you don't feel like making calls and you just want to distract yourself with other things, call reluctance. Now, sometimes you might say, hey, I need a new number, or I want to get a waitlisted number, or I want to get a Google Voice number, and that's all great, and you definitely want to get those things. But you just got to jump on the phones and make calls, whether you've got the number from Bangladesh or a US number, it doesn't really matter. Because what you're doing is you're training your mindset. So think of it this way. If you're not on the phone making power dials, and I don't mean like have the Mojo screen up and be studying it, analyzing it, and dreaming about it. I don't know, because I've been there before, right? You're pounding through there. You're power dialing. That is when you're getting paid. So think about that for a second, right? If you're like, hey, I don't want to invest more money into myself, or I can't buy a new car, or I can't buy a house, or whatever the case is, the dialer solves for that. Because the moment that you get on there and you start dialing is the moment that you're making money, right? It's the moment that you're helping other people. It's the moment that you're helping your family, right? So this is why I say do a vision board. Because if you got your vision board up and you're making calls, and my vision board's right here, so I'm using my hands, can you tell, right? Then your mindset is, I'm going to make more calls, right? Because you want to accomplish something. When I was in AE, I always dreamed of having a Jeep Wrangler. And this was 20 years ago. And they were expensive back then even, right? And so I promised myself, when I make 10 grand a month, which was a lot of money back then. I know it's not so much these days, right? But I promised myself that my first $10,000 paycheck, I'm going to buy a Wrangler. So what did I do? I put a Jeep Wrangler up on my vision board. It was there. And I was just like a lot of you. Like, oh man, I want to study the guidelines. I want to talk to my friends. I need another coffee. I drank too much coffee. Now I need to go to the bathroom. Look at all these excuses I was making for myself, right? But when I put that Wrangler up there, and I don't say being materialistic, maybe yours is supporting your family or buying a house or something. But when I put that up there and I just focused on one thing, my friends would even come by because they had call reluctance and be like, hey, Dave, let's talk about this. I'm like, no, stay focused, right? And I would stay focused and make my dials every single day. I was making 300, 400 dials a day without a power dialer because we were old school back then and we had grit, and that's so lost in today's society, right? And I hope that you've got grit to at least push go on the power dialer and be brave enough and be confident enough in yourself. Not about the product, not about the company, not about me, not about the dude down the street, not about the car. Be confident about yourself to win your goals. You need to win your goals. They're going to be hard. They're going to be a stretch. People around you aren't going to understand. You know, Uncle Jim that's been working at the assembly line for the last 30 years will have no idea what you're doing. He gets a 3% raise every year. That doesn't even beat inflation. That sucks. You have unlimited earning potential. You know, cousin Sally, don't ask her for advice. She's got to put in for her vacation 2 months in advance to maybe get a week or two off per year. That freaking sucks. You can take off time whenever you want. You want to go on that cruise? Earn it. Put it up on your vision board. You don't have to beg from some boss, get down on your knees and be like, hey, can I please? Because I know I've been there. When I was a corporate manager and I worked at Bank of America, I had 3, maybe 4 weeks of paid vacation because I climbed up the ladder. That's a lot, right? You know how much of that I actually got to take? None. Because my manager was a jerk. She rode me like a freaking, I don't know. I won't get down that thing. But I remember just going in her office and just begging, hey, my kids have this. I need to take a day off? No, there isn't anybody to run the teams. Yes, put that all on me. But with your role, you can take off whenever you want. There's no boss for you to beg from. There's no cap. There's no 3% crappy raise every year. You decide how much you want to make. You want to make 3% more today? You decide that. You want to make 3% more this week? You decide that. You want to make 3% more? You want to make 30% more? You want to make 300% more? You decide that. And you make money by helping other people. So it's a disservice for them when we have call reluctance, right? So this all gets back to making calls, not having call reluctance, accomplishing your dreams. Going back to the Jeep, I made 10 grand. Did I buy the Jeep? Actually, no. I was like, wait a minute. I made 15 grand this month as an AE back 20 years ago. I'm like, crap, that was easy. All I had to do was be on the phone helping people. And I thought, wow, this is the best job ever. And so I got on the phone more. And I got to the point where I was making over 20 grand a month back 20 years ago. Isn't that crazy? You know, and not consistent. You know, we have great months, we have lower months. Sometimes it's, well, all the time it's our own fault, right? You have a great month, you're like, woo, you go out, you celebrate, you take your foot off the pedal a little bit, production goes down a little bit, you're like, better crank it back up, right? Get on the phones, crank it back up, help more people, right? And so when you have call reluctance, this is a natural thing. And talking to people, especially people that don't understand, assembly line workers, your buddy that's a crossing guard, they don't understand what your life is like. You have the freedom to make your choices. So give yourself the freedom to step out and be brave and win those things in your life that you want, that you need. Help other people. Win every single day. The best things in life do not come easy. Write that down. If it isn't hard, it's probably not worth it, right? Did Elon think up an electric car one day and go out and sell a billion of them? No. It took him years of failing forward. Did Edison, you know how many light bulbs it took for him to create the light bulb? He didn't just, day one, have a light bulb, right? He had to fail forward. Did Colonel Sanders got rejected like, I don't know, hundreds of times, right? He had to fail forward. You have to fail forward. You have to win your victories. Nobody's going to win your victories for you. You have the power. God designed you with the power to step out in faith and accomplish your goals in your life. And nobody else is going to do that for you. No assembly line, no working at that dead-end job, no working those long hours at that crappy company, right? This is your freedom. You're pretty much an entrepreneur here. You decide what you want to make. You decide how many people you want to help. You decide how your family is going to live. You decide by getting on the phone and making calls. If you're not making calls, you're not making money. You're not making a difference in the lives of yourself and others and your loved ones and your friends. And here's the beautiful thing. When I started doing really well, what happened? I'm helping other people, but now my sphere of influence, who, by the way, were majority like factory workers and such, we're like, hey, back when there were factories, they're like, hey, Dave, I want what you've got. So, you know, the first few branches I built were organic building. I didn't go out and recruit people. There was nothing like a Zip Recruiter back then, or not that I know of, at least. But other people raised their hand and said, hey, I want to do what you do. I was an engineer by trade in IT, right? And I stepped out, and I was terrified of the phones at first. But I realized something very quickly, that when you are great at this role, you have no boss. You have no restrictions. You have nothing. You don't have to budget or beg for a vacation or anything. It's you getting on there and dialing. And I know this is a long video. You can fast forward or rewind to your favorite parts, or maybe you just like to watch me and fast forward waving my crazy arms around. But have fun. Smile and dial, right? This is going to be fun. It's going to be a game. Now, at first, it's going to be beating. I'm going to tell you, for your first couple of days, you're just going to get punched in the face. That's okay. You're going to make meaningful conversations. That's it. You're not trying to sell anything. We're never selling anything anyways. We're finding needs and solving for that, right? So your goal for the first week is just to have meaningful conversations. Call 3, 4, 5, 800 people a day, right? 1% of them is going to pick up. And those few people that do pick up, most of them are going to hang up on you. Yes, it's the truth, right? No matter how cool you are. Well, you're probably a lot cooler than I am, at least. They're still going to hang up on you, right? And then you know what? That's okay. Because all you need is a handful of people to have meaningful conversations with. And you know what? Something magical is going to happen. The more you call, the better you get at this. You're going to have better and better conversations. And those better and better conversations are going to lead to finding more and more needs, which are going to lead to you solving for more and more and more needs, which is going to lead to you enrolling and helping clients, which means that you're going to get more and more money, and you're going to have more and more clients that love you, and they're going to send you referrals, and now you're going to make money off those referrals, and you're going to help more people and make more money, and help more people and make more money. And that all starts with making hundreds of calls a day. And it's not sexy. It's not glorious. But I'll tell you something, when you win, you feel those wins. When you've been rejected 20 times in a day, and somebody says yes, woo! It's amazing, right? Now, if you picked up the phone and they're like, yes, 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 you're not going to be like, woo, every time. There's no adrenaline rush there, right? There's no, hey, somebody loves me out there, right? It becomes monotonous and boring, right? And so embrace the rejection and put them in your CRM. Follow up with them later. You would be shocked. I had one lady that I dropped into a CRM. She told me no. I called her again. She told me no. I called her again. She told me no. I put her into a CRM. It dripped down there for years, literally. And then she calls me one day. And she's like, Dave, I followed those steps to success that you said. And I always do steps to success in so many things. You see that, right? And this was about repairing credit. The reason why she was telling me no is because her credit was bad. And she didn't want me to know that. So she was giving up buying a house for years, renting, throwing away her money because she was too embarrassed to admit that she had bad credit. But here's the best part. She went out and she got her credit fixed by following the plan that we were sending to her. And before you know it, bam, she calls me back and she was great credit. And, I just shared that story with you because the little things, doing the little things consistently every single day, dialing every single day, getting rejected every single day yields good results, right? Sitting around worrying about crap, saying, wow, maybe I should get out there and look for other jobs. That shit's never going to work, right? Because what'll happen is you'll end up getting another crappy job. You'll work there for a while, and then the same thing's going to happen. You're going to be like, wow, this job sucks, and you're going to want to move again, right? So I don't know if you take our training, we'll go in depth, but let me give you the 4 stages, right? So there's your unconsciously incompetent, right? You know that you don't know. Then you become consciously incompetent. You know that you don't know. Then you become consciously competent. And then you become unconsciously competent, right? And so it's a growing process. And in that, you'll have inception, which is, wow, this is a great new job. I'm super excited. This is fantastic. And then you're going to get to a wall, and you're going to be like, wow, this job sucks. Like you do. And now you have a choice. You can either bail, pull ripcord out, bail out, and start this whole process over somewhere else, or you can say, I'm going to double down. I'm making 300 calls a day, and I'm terrible. So I'm going to make 600 calls a day because that means I'm going to get better. Do you see that mindset shift? Edison didn't say, hey, I made 3 light bulbs. It didn't work. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go get a job somewhere. No, he's like, I'm going to crush this. And you can crush this too. So Anyways, if you watch this video long enough, I hope that you grab some great stuff from it. Number one point is fail forward, and the only way to do that is to get on the phones. Have meaningful conversations with people. If you're not making $300, $400, $500 calls a day and you want to give up, I got nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? If you're making 300, 400, 500 calls a day and running against walls, call me. I will personally answer. I am here to help you. I have been in your shoes. I've been there. I've done it. I'm giving you better systems so you don't have the hard ramp up period like I did, but I can help you. I've helped hundreds of people. I can help you. And it's super simple. And it's all mindset. I guarantee it's all mindset, right? So anyways, I digress. Hop on the phones. Get motivated. Stop this video. Stop listening to me ramble. Get on there. Start, push go. Run. Control your future. Win. 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 Win by helping other people. Win by doing the right thing. Win by taking massive action.